Hi everyone, and welcome back for episode 2. This is a little later than expected to be recording this episode. As some of you may know, I got sick last week with the flu, but I am all recovered now, and we can start going to 2 episodes a week for the Let's Play. One just was not enough, especially when you're trying to make it a series and the amount we have to cover. For now, it looks like we have 2 quests to continue on with. Oh, nice. I never even realized that we had one captured here. I like it. I suppose there's going to be a quest involving him very soon. Now this one, I believe we're off collecting the plants that we mused on last episode. Yes it is. Okay. Down into a big spooky lake. I do love the aesthetics. I mentioned it last episode, but the fog, the eerie atmosphere, I like it a lot. Now these marrow petals. I mentioned last time that this could have been like a local colloquial name for a plant, but when it mentioned ones that grew at the base of a lake, I thought it would be something like strangle kelp, which appears to be like green, more like seaweed like this. And this has more of a appearance of, I think it's called dream bloom. Could still be right, but a little more unlikely now. And then we'll walk up here. But if we're heading up to the northern coast now, I think that's probably the most hauntingly beautiful area of this whole starting zone. Definitely left an impression, at least on me back in the day, when I started this area. I guess we'll start with, let's go into the Scarlet area. Dealing more with the Scarlet Crusade sounds like a good idea. Okay. Let's blink to make this a little faster. We go past the Solidum farmstead. Even with Scarlet protection, I still think they're crazy for trying to remain here. The last human holdout from the time of Lordaeron. By the events of the Cataclysm, the humans have pretty much lost this territory. I know during VFA it became contested again, but there was no way they were holding on to it for long. Here we are. Let's end some Scarlet. And I'm going to overpull, of course I am. Here we are. So these ones are still using the Lordaeron flag, although it has been tattered and withered. I guess like the kingdom itself, this is an accurate representation of what it must feel like to be one of the last Lordaeron humans after the Scourge. Broken, tattered, barely holding on. Oh, nice, we got a Scarlet letter. I will read that in just a moment if we can. How curious that you would decide to take a prisoner, an undead one at that. What were you thinking? Do you think that just because the prisoner's former status, that she would be above the edicts of the Scarlet Crusade? This is more troubling, Gebler. I would remind you that there are penalties for such behaviour. I command you to execute the prisoner at once. She is no longer one of us. Now that sounds like Lillian. And held up there. Former Scarlet Crusade, now an undead, hated herself enough to run back to the Scarlet Crusade. But as much disdain as I have for the Scarlet Crusade, and I make it quite obvious in the video, I actually respect that they stick to their core values. Even as much as, if they're going to hate the undead, at least they hate them all universally, even ones that change. That's got to be the hardest part for them, and probably where a lot of the hatred comes from, is seeing one's former friends and family turn to the undead, and there's nothing you can do about it. They're enemies now. It changes them forever. However, I am aware there's a conversation on the other side. Now that the undead are free from the Lich King and can decide their own fates, not all of them necessarily choose an evil one. Should it not then be on the former friends and family to come and be a sympathetic shoulder to let them return?
I live my life in the shadows.
Let's try and rescue her. First of all, I don't need to be rescued. Second of all, I'd never allow myself to be rescued by an abomination like you. How kind, we're just trying to help. I'm not undead. Not for long anyway. My father will rescue me, I know it. I think you may be labouring under a misconception there, Lillian.
Do not linger.
Uh-oh. I like how he's still just casually walking even though we're here. Here we go. Denounced, yep. So she thought she could be brought back to life by the light, by the High Priest. That's why she had so much trouble accepting who she was.
What is it you ask?
Now Lillian becomes such an important character later on. I actually love her development, especially here. She turns all that self-loathing and self-anger into true purpose. She embraces the Forsaken way far differently than the others. She doesn't let it taint who she was. She still holds on to those purity ideals, especially ones from the Scarlet Crusade, but she turns it into something beneficial for the undead as a whole, I think. That's why I find her character quite compelling. Now, I believe Mage's Blink works like this to stop fall damage. It does. Okay. That would have looked crazy if I just randomly went splat. Ah, briny sea cucumbers. Nice. I think it was Blood Death Knights had an ability that summoned little bloodworms like this at some point. Maybe during Wrath of the Lich King. But I haven't seen them anymore, so I guess they lost the ability at some point. I always found that quite thematic for them. And here we are. Now we need Zabran's Thorn. Who is Zabran, I wonder though? And I see a rare up there. We could take a rare along the way. An extra strong Murloc. At least a lot of the newer rares, especially in Dragonblight, I don't know if anyone else has noticed, that they have been hiding a lot of the lore on the rares recently. Or at least using them to give a lot of hints. I like that. Perfect. We can't wear those pants, they're male, but we'll sell them. Extra gold early on. But again, the plant doesn't match up with what I thought it would be. When they say thorn, I was thinking more along the lines of briar thorn on the cliffs. But it could just be an artistic choice for this area. The dark hounds. Are these dark hounds consumed by death? They don't look particularly dead, but they do look like they're tainted by the shadow magics in this area. By the Sathraxi, more likely. That's what taints everything else in this place. Long before the Forsaken took it over, this was still a spooky place. I remember most people would experience the duality of it. Either they would follow the light, with Tyr's essence still empowering them, or the Sathraxi would corrupt them, and they'd follow the shadow. It was always clashing in this zone, with it being the place where Tyr died. But that's not something we'll get to see until Legion. And I don't think any of the major artifacts bring us here, unfortunately. Here we are. Now we come back.
I am forsaken.
A scarlet letter.
Farewell.
The Scarlet Crusade takes no prisoners. That they would do this young woman curious. The powers that you describe are even more curious. She passed through the bars of her prison and killed her captor. Why hadn't she done that in the first place?
Watch your back.
Oh, cute that.
Remember.
It is interesting how she displayed almost Shadow Priest qualities. Though she looked like a Shadow Priest.
What is it? Trust no.
Now, his best batch yet. Harmless pumpkins, right? Or so it would seem. If we are to defeat the Scourge advances from the north and the human infestation from the south, we need to start realizing the full potential of our gift of undeath. With a little ingenuity and a simple pumpkin becomes an agent for our Dark Lady. This pumpkin, laced with my latest formula, will prove quite a treat. Yet another Scarlet Zealot has been captured and is being kept outside by the gazebo. Take this pumpkin to the fool. I just knew it. You see a terrified human in the undead area and you just know what's coming. Stay away, foul and unholy creature. May the light protect me. The Scarlet Crusade shall rid Azeroth of your... Oh wait, is that food for me? I'm so hungry. Good luck. I don't care how hungry you are, I wouldn't eat anything here. Oh wow. Okay. So he didn't just become any kind of undead. He did not become Forsaken. That was full-on plague. We've got a quest here. Collect 3 gloomweed, which we will find out and about the world. Yep. Let's do that real quick. I see one back there too. But you would think the Forsaken would not rely on the plague so much. They are basically inflicting far worse onto others than from what was done onto them. It's cruel fate, really. I mean, the Scarlet Crusade deserve it to some degree, but that level of cruelty, probably not. But Gordo will actually lead us now up to Brill. Since abominations are stitched together from multiple beings, what decides their overriding personality, at least from the sentient ones that do they have their own? Is it an amalgamation of all that was before? That has always interested me. What decides on the personality that comes out? I know they're oftentimes a little slow in the head, but there must be some consciousness behind it, some memory of what they once were. Or perhaps it's just too painful with all of that being together. They would end up like the Sauroch boss in Throne of Thunder. The one that was just an amalgamation of a bunch of beings that were flesh-shaped together. And since they all had their memories all at once, they would just scream and writhe in pain all the time. I figured that's what must happen to the Forsaken, if they the Forsaken abominations, if they decide to remember. But Deathbringer Dillinger has something for us.
What is it?
Come no closer, mindless one. Ah, my apologies. I took you for one of the Scourge. I hope you are here to fight, for we the Forsaken are besieged.
Embrace the shadow.
Scourge have trickled into Tirisful Glades and have infested the area. I need someone to beat back the rotting dead and ravaged corpses that have taken this small farm. Scatter their bones and bring back their putrid claws. The Death Guards will reward you.
Beware
Okay.
the living.
Speaking frankly, the Forsaken of yesteryear were a snivelling, pathetic group. We huddled together in decrepit old human buildings, hiding from the Scourge, cowering from the Alliance and grovelling at the foot of the Horde. Look before you now and see the product of the new Forsaken. We have made our mark here on Azeroth, and that mark will grow. Our dominion will soon blanket the world. You want my advice? Speak with Magistrate Severin in Brill. Down this road, he runs the town.
Trust no one.
They are not so different from the mortal living races, I guess. They still want dominion over the whole world. They still want superiority. Not even a semblance of trying to coexist. But that is not unique to the Forsaken. Many of the races are like this. I wonder if it is fear that drives them. Do they want the security of Dominion the security that Dominion brings? Knowing that you hold all the power must make you feel quite secure. In a turbulent world like Azeroth, it must be a rarity. Maybe that's what drives them all to be so bloodthirsty, I guess. Conquerors. But these are the Scourge that never got their mind back. Too far gone. But Brill is absolutely an amazing area. Once we reach that town. When you first walk into Brill, everything so far has been great. You've got the gloomy atmosphere, you're starting to get drawn in, but it's really when you reach that first true town and you see what undead life is, Forsaken life is really like. The Undercity too, it is a shame for such a fantastic city that we don't spend more time there or have no reason to. It's like a lot of the other capitals, it feels a little abandoned. I didn't even realise we were finished. I was just murdering my way through a field of zombies. Have we got anything in here? a tailoring trainer, and a clothier. Nice. We're okay for not needing to sell up just yet.
What now?
Well done. I enjoyed watching you smash these undead into rotting pulp. Wow. Somebody still holds a grudge, clearly. Ah, the skeletal horses. Actually amazing. We get to be a pale rider. Here we are. Coming up on Brill. The first time we get to see it. Absolutely perfect. I only just noticed that there's a giant skull up there. I wonder of what. Has to be something rather large. An ogre, perhaps? And we'll grab this flight path here. Perfect. Junior Apothecary Holland.
They'll all be mine.
Where's that useless abomination? Either you have what I need or you best get out there and find it. What's this? Gloomweed? I have no need for Gloomweed. That mindless mass of flesh is out there picking daisies and convincing the lady knows how many dupes like you into doing the same. No offense. We'll deal with the Gloomweed later. For now we've got other matters to discuss. Junior Apothecary Holland.
The dead shall serve.
Lady Sylvanas has called upon the Royal Apothecary Society. She has challenged us to concoct a new plague, a plague deadlier than any ailment on Azeroth. This new disease will bring our enemies, living and dead, to ruin. My studies show that the blood of beasts might prove to be the key. Here, fill these vials with Darkhound blood so I can test my theory. Interesting. So this is the plague. This is what Forsaken are most famous for. I apologise for the jump cut we just had, by the way, but as is the usual, as soon as I begin recording, a neighbour decides they want to begin renovating. Just the way it goes recording from home. We have Deathguard Morris.
Speak quickly.
Supplying Brill.
Our time.
Executor Zygand asked me to take stock of our equipment here in Brill. With the Scourge and worse lurking in the woods, he doesn't want the Death Guards to lack the gear they might need. I found what we are, in general, well stocked, but we do need more weapons to replace those lost in the field. Here is a requisition order of what is needed for the weapon dealer Gordon Wyndham in the Undercity. Take the order to the bat handler Annette and speak with her about transport to the Undercity.
Beware the living.
I think we'll save that for next episode or a between episode. I'm not sure all of you want to sit on a flight from Brill to the Undercity. Or perhaps I'll do it and then I'll just add it into the in-between while I'll be doing any talk over at the end of the episode or something. But here is Executor Zygand.
What would you ask of death?
Information we've received from Executor Aaron in Deathnell contains all the details we need to wipe the human infestation from our land. According to this information, the Scarlet Crusaders assigned Captain Perrine and a brigade of the route to the ruined tower southwest of Brill. Kill 3 of his zealots and 3 of his missionaries, and while you're there, see if you can dig up any other information about what they're up to. And this one we will leave, it just leads to the next area for now. But we've got a quest to hand in up here. We were sent to the leader of the town.
What is it?
For now we will make this our home,
No one.
and we will head upstairs. This is perfect. It reminds me very much of A Nightmare Before Christmas, that kind of tower. how stretched and elongated the architecture is. I love it. Yes, I'm Brill's local magistrate, reporting directly to the Dark Lady. Impress me, and you may end up meeting the Banshee Queen herself. I need a fresh report from our Death Guard way station to the east. I must know if more Scourge forces have slipped past the bulwark and into Tirisfal. Our vigilance on the border to the Plague Lands must be maintained. We can't let the Scourge get a stronger foothold here. Travel south along the road, then east to the fork to the way station. Speak with Death Guard Liana. She has the information I need. Magistrate Severin. So he is the man in charge of this little town here. We'll focus on that first. Let's go find out if the Scourge really have been pushing through. So for those who don't know or don't remember, but the Plague Lands, the main bulk of all the Scourge forces left on the Eastern Kingdoms reside there. And so they've consistently got to maintain that, what they call the bulwark, shield themselves from the undead that wish to pour in. That is a relentless job. But later on when we go to those areas, I feel they are so lore rich. Interesting. You deserve to lose these lands for what your people did to us. Interesting. As far as you know, a Worgen rogue roaming in Tirisfal is a new development. This is something that Executor Zygand would certainly be interested in. That is extremely interesting. Worgens this far out? Definitely a threat that we'll be seeing in Silverpine.
What now?
Magistrate Severin wants a report. Very well. The defenders of the bulwark are holding the majority of the Scourge at bay, but some do slip through on occasion. We have seen some sporadic Scourge activity east of this station, with a concentration around the Balnir farmstead. It's so cold now. The plague of undeath crawls through my veins like an icy serpent, but no doomed destiny will prevent me from serving our Dark Lady. When the call arose, I sewed body bags for the fallen soldiers of Sylvanus' mighty army. Now my hands shake from the chill. If you would bring me 5 duskbat pelts, I could sew myself a blanket. Help me, so that I can continue to serve the cause. So many Forsaken appear obsessed with the Dark Lady. But she saved them. I guess they feel like they owe her an eternal debt because of it. But she is the agent of their vengeance. She's the best chance they have of getting back what was lost. It makes sense. She is a very, very compelling leader. Have to be on the lookout for those Worgens that could just turn up at any moment. The Worgen's immunity to the curse of undeath is something that was never really explored enough. It set them up so well as the main antagonist for the Forsaken, the main threat to their species, but I feel like the Forsaken's still biggest threat was themselves. They were their own worst enemies, so consumed by hatred and bitterness. They never got to really evolve as a people and keep up. Okay, let's get some dusk pelts here. She did say she could feel the plague of undeath in her veins. I wonder if that's a common occurrence or she was just using it as an analogy for being cold. Like the flesh dripping from her bones, she might genuinely be cold. Or perhaps that the plague that actually reanimated them, they can still feel in their body to some degree. Well, either way, we can make her feel a little better. Get a little warmer with these pelts. There we go. These dark hounds, for those who play Shadowlands, they look a lot like the stone dogs from the Venthyr area. The same, like, undeath magic runs through them. That's what changed them, I wonder. Would seem likely, both born from a similar place. There we go, and now we can go back. But I believe we're almost finished with this great area, the Tirisful Glades. We have the Scarlet threat to deal with still here, as well as the Scourge and the lead into the next zone, which is the Worgen threat. But from there, what I'll probably do is start taking votes on what areas people want to go to. The path is not so linear then. So I'll just put a comment up and people can throw some suggestions what they'd like to see next in the series. And then we can cover it all eventually. There we go. Some slippers in return. Death Guard Linear. You should return to Magistrate Severin with the information I gave you. He'll want it as soon as possible. Be swift.
Trust no one.
I will be as swift as my shambly bones will carry me. But the episode is coming up on around time we should finish, even though I really want to carry on. I think I will film the next episode pretty much straight away. But yeah, 2 episodes a week for sure on the Let's Plays. They're much shorter, so it makes sense. But I would like to thank everyone for the support while I was sick, as I mentioned earlier. That was really nice. I really didn't like missing an episode, but my voice completely lost. And here we are. We will go to the innkeeper. We will hang out with Innkeeper Rene. That'll be nice. But I guess I will see you all in the next episode. And thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to come back anytime.